Topic is emotional intelligence. If you've seen this word before, sophomore, it's based on two Greek elements, sophos and moros, and it literally means sophisticated moron. Now, every semester I get bright, capable students who can ace my class, and yet they sabotage their education through foolish or immature behavior. So higher education is not so much intellectual ability, but mature readiness. One's EQ is believed to be more important than IQ in determining future success. Additionally, unlike IQ, which remains relatively stable throughout life, EQ can be improved. Going to look at just 6 of these 18 emotionally mature behaviors, and this is a good opportunity for you to get involved. What you can do is, as we go over each of these 6 behaviors, give yourself a number 1 through 5 based on the degree something is true about yourself. So for example, first one, the emotionally mature can tolerate discomfort. If that's totally true about yourself, give yourself a 5, a 1 if it's not true at all, anything in between. Second one, ability to move on. Don't stay in the past, forget what's gone is gone, and go forward. A willingness to fail, can embrace change, accepts full responsibility for past behavior, and lastly, have staying power, or a good word is grit, perseverance, a stick-to-itiveness that doesn't give up. So out of our 5-point continuum, with number 3 being the midway point, we'd like a score of 3 or higher on each of those 6 behaviors. Now, we're not going to remember those 6 behaviors perhaps, but I've come across 2 quotes that kind of synthesize or consolidate those thoughts. For example, 3 of the 6 behaviors we looked at were these, and these are summed up in the following quotation. The pathway to maturity will be marked by failure, but the only real failure is to quit. And the second 3 can be consolidated into no growth without change, no change without loss, and no loss without pain. Good thoughts, something to muse upon, to think about, and see how this can play into your maturity as you embrace these truths. Humorist and writer Mark Twain said that when he was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years. Driving home from work, turned on the radio, and I caught myself in the middle of a talk show. And the topic was so in line with this presentation, I went home and recorded the show. Then I extracted 2 snippets from that, and I'm going to add those to the conclusion here. The context of the radio program was parenting, raising children. But as you give a listen, you'll see how these align very much with this idea of emotional maturity and success. So 2 sound bites, about 30 seconds each.
That life is not going to be easy. Tim and I gave a talk about a while back, and just on the spur of the moment, there were about 70 parents there, mostly between 40 and 60. And I asked, how many of you's lives have gone harder than you thought they would go? And 90% of those parents raised their hand. And that was chilling to me. And that's the world we have to prepare our kids for. It's for most of our kids, their life will be more difficult than they anticipate. And it's our job to get them resilient enough to face that. We've gotten to know in the last year a dean of student at Stanford University, and she's talked about how immature today's freshmen are compared to 20 years ago.
Now that's interesting, because that's an objective perspective. It's happening, and I've heard that from other college professors as well.
And she's been there 23 years, and she said today's freshmen are so far behind 20 years ago. And part of that is from that mindset that you're talking about, is mom and dad are always going to be involved. They're going to be there.
Fix it.